Hey there, I'm Brandon, and this is the Dirt Church Devotional. You know, I think one of my very favorite Jesus and the disciples stories comes out of the book of Luke in the 5th chapter, and it talks about Jesus calling some of his first disciples, and it starts out like this. It says that one day Jesus was standing, on the shore of the sea, Gennesaret or something like that, and the people were crowding around him. And as he looked around as people were crowding around, he saw a boat there that was left there by some fishermen. It happened to be a boat belonging to Simon Peter. So he climbs in the boat. We're not told whether he asked permission or just assumed that he could. Anyway, he gets in the boat, pushes out from the shore a little ways, and obviously Peter's in the boat with him, and he teaches the people. When he gets done teaching the people, he turns to Peter and he says, "Hey, let's put out into deep water and let down the nets, catch some fish." Now, Peter was a seasoned fisherman. He was a professional. He and his brother had been working with their dad for years. Their partners, James and John, had been working with their dad, Zebedee. They were partners. They knew what they were doing. Jesus, on the other hand, was a carpenter turned teacher. And so when Jesus, who just got done preaching probably a fantastic message, a life-challenging message, and Peter was kind of a captive audience sitting in the boat with him, when this carpenter turned preacher says, "Hey, let's put out into deep water and let down the nets, catch some fish," Peter replies to Jesus. He says, "Lord, we've been working all night and we haven't caught anything." Right? The reason Peter worked all night was when you catch the best fish. They worked all night, they hadn't caught anything. But then Peter says something interesting, and this is kind of where I want to go today. He says, "But because you say so." What he was doing was setting the stage to humor Jesus. He said, "Look, I'm a professional. We worked all night. We haven't caught anything. I'm tired. I want to go home. I just got done cleaning my nets. It's time to go home, catch some sleep. But you know what? Because you say so, we'll do it." He's humoring Jesus. He's doing what so many of us do to our wives or our coworkers or somebody else that we think doesn't know as much about something as we do. Your wife tells you to turn right here, turn left there, and you say, "No, but because you say so." And the reason we say that is so when it turns out that they're wrong and we're right, we can turn around and say, "I told you so." It relieves us of the responsibility of being wrong, right? And so Peter does this. He humors Jesus. He says, "Well, because you say so, we'll do it." So they go out and they drop down the nets. Well, if you've read Luke chapter 5, you know what happens next. They caught so many fish that the nets began to break. And so Simon Peter signals over to his partners, James and John. They bring their boat over and they fill both boats so full, it says, that both boats began to sink. And at this point, Peter is freaked out because not only has he listened to Jesus and heard whatever it was he was talking about, but now he humored Jesus, and this carpenter knew more about fishing. He knew where the fish were more than Peter did. It was a miracle. And so Peter freaks out and he backs up and he falls on his hands and knees and he tells Jesus, "Go away from me, Lord. I'm a sinful man." Well, here's my point. Too many of us spend time humoring God. Oh, we'll go to church because it's the right thing to do. We'll sing the songs because everybody else is singing and they sound pretty good. We'll read our Bible. We'll participate maybe in a Bible study, or we'll study some. But let's face it, we're humoring him. We're doing it just because maybe it's the right thing to do. What we need to do instead of humor him is to honor him. Now, oftentimes on the surface, it might look the same, but it's a heart condition that's different. We honor him when we do these things because we have relationship with him. When we do these things because we trust him. When we do these things because we know it's going to make a difference. Even when we don't understand, we believe that he does. Even when we don't like it, we believe that he knows what's going on. And so we honor him by surrendering, submitting to his will. So let me leave you with this thought or this question. Have you been humoring the Lord? Or have you been honoring the Lord? Think about that. Chew on it. I'll talk to you next time.